All right, let's get right into it. We've got to talk about a huge data breach that just went down, and it's basically exposed a massive, critical vulnerability in the entire cloud ecosystem. This is the Gainsight Salesforce breach, and trust me, it is a big one.
So first, let's just wrap our heads around the scale of this thing. The number of companies we know have been hit by this single incident, it's already over 200. And you know that number is probably going to climb. This is what a supply chain attack looks like, and the repercussions are just massive. And here is the thing you absolutely have to understand. This wasn't 200 different hacks. Nope, this was one single attack. One vulnerability that got exploited just once, and it set off this catastrophic domino effect that has compromised hundreds of businesses all at the same time. This, right here, is the scary new reality of the cloud supply chain. Now, just take a look at who got caught in the crossfire. You're seeing gigantic names, right? LinkedIn, Verizon. But what's really truly alarming is seeing cybersecurity giants on this list. CrowdStrike, Malwarebytes. I mean, the very companies whose entire job is to stop these kinds of attacks, they got hit too. That's when you know it's really, really serious.
Look, this isn't just another data breach. We're calling this the cloud apocalypse for a reason. It's because it exposes this fundamental and frankly terrifying fragility in how all of our modern systems are connected. It's a weakness that attackers have now definitively proven they can exploit on a massive scale.
So what are we actually dealing with here? It's called a cloud supply chain attack. And what that means is your own security, your firewalls, everything, it could be perfect, completely flawless. But it doesn't matter. See, the hackers, they don't even bother targeting you. They go after a trusted software vendor that you use, and they just ride that trusted connection right into your systems. You didn't get hacked, your vendor's vendor got hacked.
Okay, so let's actually trace the anatomy of this thing. How did it happen? We're going to see exactly how one single broken link in this massive chain caused the entire disaster.
So it all started with just one weak link. The attackers found and exploited a vulnerability in a trusted third-party app, one that companies rely on every single day.
And in this case, that weak spot was the Gainsight app. Now, this is a customer success platform that thousands of companies all over the world use. It's a trusted tool, which is exactly what made it the perfect Trojan horse.
And here's where the real problem explodes. Gainsight was, of course, connected to the Salesforce platform. So by breaking into Gainsight, the attackers essentially got handed the keys to the entire interconnected Salesforce ecosystem, the central nervous system for countless businesses.
And that brings us to the absolutely devastating final step. That trusted connection becomes a superhighway for the attackers. It leads them right past all of your defenses, straight to your most valuable asset, your customer data, which, by the way, is now up for sale on the dark web. So you've got over 200 companies breached. The data is out there, and the inevitable question starts to bubble up. Who is actually at fault here? Well, this is where things get really messy, and the blame game officially begins. Just take a look at these official statements. So, on one side, you have Salesforce saying, hey, no indication of any vulnerability on our platform. And on the other side, Gainsight says, yep, the problem was the external connection, not an issue with Salesforce's platform. Do you see what's happening here? Everybody's pointing fingers, but nobody's actually taking responsibility.
And here's the real translation, right? This quote just cuts right through all that corporate talk. While they're busy arguing about whose fault it is, the one undisputed fact is that your data is gone. The system failed, and you're the one left cleaning up the mess.
Okay, that's the problem. That's the mess. Enough about that. Let's pivot to what actually matters. What you need to be doing about this, right now. We've put together a 4-step action plan to help you respond immediately.
The most important thing here is to act now. First, assume you've been compromised. If you use these apps, don't sit around waiting for an official email. Start monitoring your systems for any unusual activity immediately. Second, audit your integrations. Go through every single third-party app connected to your systems. Ask yourself, what data can this app see, and does it really need to? Third, minimize your data exposure. It's the principle of least privilege. If an app doesn't absolutely need certain data to do its job, then cut off its access. And finally, prepare your procedures. You can't be creating your incident response plan in the middle of a 5-alarm fire. Have those breach notification plans written down, practiced, and ready to go before anything ever happens.
And this all boils down to one final critical question you need to be asking your team right this second. Are you using Gainsight? Or are you using any externally connected apps on the Salesforce platform? If that answer is yes, or even maybe, you need to be checking your systems immediately.
And we're just going to leave you with this final thought. It's a bit chilling, but it's necessary.
In today's completely interconnected cloud supply chain, a breach like this, it's no longer a question of if it will happen to you. It is simply a question of when. You need to prepare accordingly.